Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So, I can hardly see you because the lights are so strong, but please move closer. Move up here. Come up front. So, once again, allow me to say how happy I am alongside heads of state and of governments, international organizations, ministers, ambassadors. Allow me to say in a couple of words what we've been doing in the past few days. First of all, I would like to thank all of the scientists who were here and who led this work and allowed this first summit to take place and to give way to the Paris call for poles and glaciers. I would like to thank the Natural History Museum here and the staff of the museum for hosting the event. I would like to thank the secretary and the ambassador and the whole staff of the One Polar Summit and all of the scientists who, under the aegis of Antje Boytjes and Jérôme Chaplas, alongside with the Jim Ski, carried out this work, and they handed over a report. All this work was coordinated with NGOs, represented by Pascal Lamy and steered by Émile Dediou and Geneviève Ponce. So I'm not going to repeat here what has been said so far because I think there are people who can do that much better than I can. But the situation is alarming. It shows that it's not a threat that is coming up in the future, but it's already there, and it's getting worse by the minute. When we're talking about this state of a cryosphere, we're talking about a transformation that is already underway, that is threatening millions already and billions soon of inhabitants, and then has direct consequences and indirect consequences on many other. In 2100, over one half of world glaciers will have disappeared, with an impact on at least 1 billion inhabitants of Earth, which will lack water resources. So this goes to show what we're faced with. The Arctic is heating up about 3 times as fast as other places, and the Antarctic close behind. So many things have been done so far, and I would like to pay tribute to what has been done by the Arctic Circle, Mr. President. Thank you, and I think it was very important to have the Prime Minister of Norway here with us today, highly committed, and to have many other presidents, not only of the region, but also from mountainous regions and glacier regions, the Alps, the Himalayas, and many presidents and leaders from all around. And my special thoughts go out to the president of Nepal, who should have been here today, but was unfortunately called to stay in his country because of the earthquake which occurred there. The Paris call for poles and glaciers is going to help mobilize our people on several actions. First of all, the decade on research with the support of the World Meteorological Organization and UNESCO, with a certain number of projects already acted, which are going to mobilize the scientific community. The Ice Memory Project and the decade dedicated to research in the Antarctic. This is the major challenge in order to understand the interactions between glaciers and oceans beyond the ice cap. And France will stand alongside India, Germany, Australia, Italy on this major research project. And secondly, we acted a coalition, Ocean Rise and Resilience, which will be steered by Christian Estrosi, whom I thank for that, which is going to bring together coastal city and coastal areas on rising sea levels, and will bring together inhabitants from all over the world facing very different situations. And in view of the summit to be held on June the 7th, 2025, 1 million inhabitants that are threatened by the ice melting will be represented in this UN conference that we will be co-steering with Costa Rica. The third major element that has been decided upon is to protect natural spaces that are the most threatened in the areas of the poles on the glaciers, namely the BBNG, for the high seas. And I think we need to suggest a large-scale marine protected area in the high seas in the Arctic region, and to work on the equivalent level of protection in the Antarctic. And I would like to repeat the call extended during the recent COP for preventing exploitation of the marines, and we have to have a moratorium in order to mobilize as many people as we can, and as many countries as we can. All of these actions were supported by many countries to extend the call, the Paris call for poles on glaciers, and we're going to carry on over the years with the ambition on melting ice. And we decided that the next meeting of the One Polar Summit will be held in the framework of the Arctic Circle, and it will follow up on what we've done here. So what about France's commitment here? We, of course, have our ecological plans. We have a strategy, a polar strategy. It's going to be rolled out from now until 2030. And as I said earlier on, with our participants, we have a tradition in France, which is something we like, and which is represented by the Paul Émile Victor Polar Institute in France. This is a tradition that we hold strong here, and I would like to mention that Daphne Paul Émile Victor is here with us from 2017 until 2022. We're going to carry on improving their working framework and the nature of contracts. But I think that from here to 2030, we'll be investing 1 billion euros in research, polar research. France 2030 has already allowed 2 initiatives to see the light of day: the Polar Pod and the Arctic Station with the Tara Foundation. You can see the scale model right behind me, and we're going to carry on, and we will be rebuilding the station du Mont d'Urville, the Mont d'Urville station, and the renovation of the Concordia Polar Station in line with the best environmental standards, and this will be part of the mandate. French researchers also have a tradition. We had Edith Sylvestre here with us, who's almost a Norwegian now, even if she is French by birth. She's an explorer and glaciologist. And I was mentioning this research project in the east of Antarctica, which is going to participate in. But I would also like to say that to support this research and these adventures, France is going to build a ship, an ice-breaking ship that is going to be based between Hobart and Nouméa and the Dumont d'Urville station, and it will be called the Michel Rocard ship.
Michel Rocard.
It will be named Michel Rocard. Michel Rocard, who helped build the Arctic Circle, as you well remember, Mr. President of the Arctic Circle. He was the initiator of the Madrid Protocol and our first ambassador for the poles. So I wish all the MPs here present carry on supporting this. The Albedos Foundation under the CNRS, dedicated to French research and French-speaking research, will have a key role to play. And with their donor and founder, Fredrik Poulsen, they already have 10 million euro at hand, and soon twice as much. And we also work for the protection of our own glaciers. 30% of our glaciers are protected in France. All of them are in protected areas. So this is something we talked about, some of you, the reservation of Southern Territories, which is the second largest in the world, which is ours, and all of our glaciers are protected. But in mainland France, 60% of glaciers are in highly protected areas, and I would like to initiate a consultation which will allow us to have all of our glaciers, 100% of our glaciers, placed under high protection. This requires the involvement of elected representatives. So that's what I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. But especially I would like to thank the scientists who really allow us to understand things and move on it. And I would like to thank international organizations and UNESCO here in particular with its scientific, cultural, and educational dimension. UNESCO really is something that allows us to take stock of the situation. And I would also like to thank the leaders who are here, who've been involved for years and sometimes decades even, on these very sensitive matters. And in spite of all the geopolitical difficulties and chaos that carry on and carrying on in the right direction, we next year will be holding another summit. And in the framework of the UN conference to be held in Nice, we'll have a follow-up in 2025. And with this regularity, we'll hopefully be able to have concrete results. And this is quite a simple that we are all here working on these matters when war is raging in Ukraine and that there's been a terrorist attack on Israel and now bombing on Gaza in a world that is in turmoil. So we are in a world that is facing multiple crises and everything is intertwined. So matters of biodiversity and climate, and in particular matters relating to this cryosphere, are problems that will raise in the future as well and have an impact on security. So our obligation is not to deviate from our agenda, even if we have to manage urgent crises, to carry on working, to catch up and to make up for lost time and to whatever we can to be able to live up to the challenges and work for the cryosphere. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I had to say. Thank you very much to all scientists, NGOs, local communities, indigenous people, and all of those who were here today. Thank you again to all.
Thank you, Mr. President. Merci à toi. Merci. C'est pas le boulot. Une fois encore. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.